Fox News starts right now.
We caught a brief glimpse of the sun, kind of, before the clouds creeped in. The radar showing some rain happening out there in parts of our viewing area. Adam Caskey joining us now with how Friday night and the weekend is looking weather-wise, Adam.
Yeah, this Friday evening, it's going to be just like yesterday evening. A little damp out there and some lingering areas of rain. We've had some good rainfall across parts of South Texas, and we continue to get some more rainfall. Right now, most of the action is just east of San Antonio. You see along the I-10 corridor from Gonzales County eastward, and that's where we have most of the real steady rain. So taking a closer look locally, a little bit of action here in Kendall County. In and around Bernie, that's pushing off to the northeast pretty quickly. And you look over the past couple of hours, and a lot of this has actually fizzled out a bit. And I do think most of the real shower activity will really slow down here over the next couple of hours. However, that's going to lead to some areas of fog and even some drizzle, especially for the first part of the day tomorrow, and some more showers passing through town as well. We'll break down your full forecast, talk about the weekend, and a cold front that's going to affect us coming right up.
All right, Adam, thank you. A San Antonio police officer finding himself on the other side of the law tonight. This after being arrested on a domestic family violence charge, a first for the year.
Yeah, but as Devin Clark shows us, this is just the latest addition to a list of officers accused of similar offenses within the past 2 years.
On Thursday, San Antonio police officer Austin Wilkie joined a group of SAPD officers arrested on allegations of domestic abuse. Wilkie's specific charge is assault causing bodily injury married. Bexar County Sheriff's Office investigators say that Wilkie pushed the victim to the floor inside the home, the incident leaving the victim with scratches to both knees and a cut to the right forearm. Police Chief William McManus calling the allegations inexcusable. But Wilkie isn't the first SAPD officer to be in the domestic abuse spotlight. There have been at least 3 others since 2018. Last year, former Detective Daniel Pugh was accused of beating his girlfriend's face bloody and was charged with family violence. Charges were dismissed on May 10th after the woman signed a waiver. Pugh was fired last July and is appealing the suspension. He denies the allegations. Former officer Justin Ayers, one of the subjects of our Broken Blue special, highlighting issues within the SAPD, was never arrested but lost his job after police say that he smashed his ex-fiance's face with a rock, cracking her skull back in 2018. And Officer Jonathan Montalvo was accused of choking his live-in girlfriend during an argument over a cell phone. He was arrested on a felony domestic violence charge and was placed on administrative leave pending the investigation.
San Antonio police say that there are psychological services, a chaplaincy program, and peer support available to any officer who's feeling stressed or dealing with a mental crisis. They also have the option of speaking to their supervisor for support. Reporting in the newsroom, Devin Clark, KSAT 12 News.
One friend allegedly shot another friend today before fleeing the scene, only to return a short time later to surrender, both of them teenage boys. The 17-year-old was visibly upset when he came back before and after police took him into custody. San Antonio police say the older teen was in the 15-year-old's bedroom at an apartment complex on Eckert Road late this morning. But San Antonio police aren't saying what the circumstances were that led up to the shooting. And because the victim is a minor, there's no word on his condition. But police did say he was critically injured, shot in the head. The victim's parents told police that they didn't hear any arguing between the two, only the single gunshot.
She's been dubbed the killer nurse. When Janine Jones pled guilty to murder yesterday in the death of a San Antonio infant in 1981, there was something said during the proceeding that went almost unnoticed. Our Paul Venema takes a look in this report we call The Backstory.
It was a word that the families of killer nurse Janine Jones' tiny victims had been waiting almost 4 painful decades to hear Jones say. Guilty. In a voice barely audible, they finally heard her say it. Listen closely.
Ms. Jones, how do you plead to count 1 in the indictment in 17 CR 5730?
Guilty. But what followed caught our attention. Prosecutors were giving Jones back some evidence.
The state has agreed to return those items. We have brought them to court today. They're in a box. They contain not only the Bible, the address book, but the other items that were taken.
Jones' Bible was seized during a sweep of her prison cell. Last fall, she went to court asking that it be returned, but the state balked.
I'm just not in a position to hand back evidence that may be of value to the state. There are some handwriting of Janine Jones in her Bible, some references to children, to sin.
The plea agreement in hand, Babbitt kept her word.
When these cases are resolved, I am happy to hand back any personal property we have of Janine Jones.
And those cases have been permanently resolved. As a result of this plea agreement, Jones gave up her right to appeal that life sentence. Paul Venom, KSAT 12 News.
San Antonio police searching for a shooter they say targeted a man on the city's east side early this morning. The victim shot in the neck near a convenience store in the 4000 block of East Houston Street. Sarah Acosta with what we've learned about the shooting.
It was at this location, the Stripes off of East Houston Street, right next to the Wheatley Heights Sports Complex entrance, where police found that man bleeding from his neck. But this is not where he was shot. It was here at the Edge Apartments, less than half a mile away from where the victim was found, where those shots were fired. Police say just before 12:30 Friday morning, there was some kind of altercation at the apartments off of I-10 behind the Starbucks. The man who was shot in the neck was able to drive away from the scene. Police say the victim rammed the gate of the complex and found his bumper near the interstate. He eventually ended up near the gasoline pumps at the Stripes at the 400 block of East Houston. When police arrived, they say the man had a gunshot wound to the left side of his neck just below his skull. The problem, he was not cooperating with police. He was taken to BAMC in critical condition, but was later updated to be in stable condition and will be okay. Police have not released any information on a possible suspect or suspects, and they continue their investigation. Sarah Acosta, KSAT 12 News.
He used to work for a car dealer. Now he's facing a theft charge after police say he stole a car. According to investigators, Geronimo Hernandez was fired from R&L Certified Auto Group accused of stealing. That was in October. After he left, the owners realized a car was missing from the lot. According to an arrest affidavit, they told police Hernandez took the vehicle without permission and he admitted to it. He allegedly also never brought it back. Hernandez has been charged with theft of a vehicle.
San Antonio fire investigators dealing with another suspicious fire, this one on the east side late last night. Fire crews getting the call to the 1400 block of Montana. This building near East Commerce in New Braunfels was vacant, boarded up, and even had a sign on the door that read unsafe. Firefighters knocked the fire down. No word on what started the fire just yet. We're told there is a homeless camp behind the building.
Check out time saver traffic now. TransGuide camera at Loop 410 in Jackson Keller. You can see traffic heavy in one direction, stalled car on the other, but that's not slowing down traffic there. Just usual people out and about trying to get where they're going on this Friday night. Well, a big change to the Toyota plant south of San Antonio. Production of the automaker's Tacoma pickup moving down to Mexico next year. In its place, Toyota's Sequoia SUVs will be made here in South Texas. No job or shift losses are expected due to the change. It's been a good run for the Tacoma here in San Antonio. They've been made here since 2010.
This morning, the nonprofit San Antonio Mission got a very special donation from several middle school students. A $500 check, and get this, thousands of pounds of canned goods. More than 30 students from Buckner Fanning School in Mission Springs Middle School presented the donations to San Antonio Mission, which were raised during their annual Thanksgiving feast bake sale. The canned goods were collected during their December food drive, all of it to help the nonprofit, which provides baths, clothes, food, and shelter for the homeless.
It's really good to just know that someone's always looking out for them by, gifting them, just like necessities that they may not get every day.
This year, the students donated in total about 3,500 pounds of canned goods.
How cool is it to see those kids step up?
I know. It's just a major blessing to see our community like
for those in need. Absolutely. All right, 66 degrees out there, Adam. A lot of people wondering what their weekend's going to be like.
Changes are coming this weekend, very noticeable changes over the upcoming weekend, and we'll get to those details in a minute. First, I really want to point this out. The aquifer, it already has responded to the recent rainfall. It's up 0.2 of a foot and likely to still rise as we get into tomorrow. Here's another benefit of the rain. Notice only one allergen listed here. Yes, at least for now, mountain cedar was washed away. However, when we have all this moisture in the air and rain, fog, drizzle, it boosts the mold count. So that's high with a count of over 11,000. As we go through the rest of this evening, we'll have the cloudy skies, not as much in terms of actual rainfall through the evening hours. And then by about midnight, we'll have drizzle and fog redevelop. So a damp start to your weekend. I'll talk about the rest of it coming up.
Thank you, Adam. The San Antonio Spurs look like they're figuring it out as we hit the midpoint of the season. They're looking to keep it going tonight at home against the Atlanta Hawks. Greg Simmons live from the AT&T Center with a look at tonight's matchup. Still to come in sports.
In a younger patient, for example, 5 or 6, you may just simply have belly pain, blood in the urine, maybe some nausea.
Are you keeping an eye out for kidney stones in your child? While medical experts say you need to. That's next at 6.
It's valuable. It's valuable, and it's why women want it for their children.
Breast milk. It's known to be beneficial for babies, and that's probably why some mothers who can't breastfeed go to such great lengths to find the so-called liquid gold. Tonight on the Night Beat, the dangers of buying or accepting breast milk from strangers.
Kidney stones are a hard calcium mass formed in the kidneys, and sometimes they can stay in the kidney and cause no issues. But if they try to pass out of the kidney and get stuck, they can cause extreme pain. And now they're beginning to show up more and more in children. Ursula Perry reports on how you can stop your child from going through this.
And then this stone right here, which is about 6 millimeters.
Each year, more than 500,000 Americans go to the ER for kidney stones. Severe pain, bloody urine, and vomiting, just 3 of the awful symptoms. But even worse, this is increasing in children.
The rate is increasing at about 5% per year. So it's a dramatic increase.
And those who have stones have a 50% risk of developing another one within 5 to 7 years. Risk factors for kids include being overweight, being dehydrated, and being prescribed unnecessary antibiotics.
Right now, we know that there's these 5 antibiotics that are associated with kidney stones, namely cephalosporins, as you said, broad-spectrum penicillins, which is something like Augmentin.
Risk also increases during temperature extremes, so make sure your child drinks extra fluids in the heat of the summer and the cold of the winter. The National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute suggests putting your child on the DASH diet to decrease the risk of developing stones. Small kidney stones can pass with just extra fluids in some cases, but in others you may need some medication or even shockwave therapy or even a procedure. In any event, you shouldn't wait any longer than 6 weeks to pass a stone before seeing a doctor. Ursula Perry, KSAT 12 News.
Taking a look at weather right now. I absolutely like the gloomy, misty kind of feel.
Nappy weather.
I like that. That's
Really?
my thing, yeah. You know that's my thing.
I like the sun.
I've got something for both of you.
Okay, good.
All right. Yeah, and more good rain prospects in the extended forecast. So this is some good rain that we could use, and well, we've been getting it, and that's the nice thing. Of course,
Really, Jaffney's more important than me, so
No.
make sure she gets what she wants.
make sure you're
Mother
pleased.
Nature
Yeah,
is.
yeah, exactly.
But as in usual rainfall fashion here, we have the haves and have-nots, and not everybody really cashed in on it. You go southwest of San Antonio when you had lower accumulations. Cotulla area, really not all that much over the past 48 hours. Then you head into the hill country, and that's where we've had some really good rainfall. And over 2 to 3 inches in parts of the hill country. Not for everybody, but especially eastern Bandera County, there, Pipe Creek area. Several reports of over 3 inches measured over the past 48 hours. And even northwest Bexar County sees some decent amounts of on the order of a ½ inch to an inch. Here's a look at the current radar. Not a lot of activity left over in the hill country, just a few light little showers here and there passing from the southwest to the northeast. Locally, our rain has mostly come to an end, just a few little sprinkles on the far north side of Bexar County, basically Camp Bullis area moving toward Bulverde. But that's it, and even moving out of Bernie is that little shower. You can see how a lot of this activity that we've had has dissipated over the past hour or so. And you go southeast of town, Wilson, Karnes counties, not a whole lot of actual rain left over. Still, of course, a damp ground and damp roadways. Gonzales County, still getting some good rainfall right now, even lingering into parts of northwestern Lavaca County, some good rain. So this is nice to see. This is going to be very limited, though, in terms of its time frame, pushing off to the northeast and moving on out of here. And I do expect most of the real steady rain and the actual showers to gradually taper off as we go through the evening. And then we'll just have some stray showers and some stragglers out there through the night with fog and drizzle to add to it. So this is part of a bigger system that stretches from South Texas all the way up to the Canadian border. And of course, on the cold side of it, some heavy snowfall. We also have this cold front that's basically associated with this whole pattern. And this is the cold front that's going to hit us tomorrow around late morning, midday. So let's actually go through time here. Out ahead of the front tonight, tomorrow morning, it's more of the same. Okay, this front's going to change things, but it's going to need some time. So tomorrow morning at sunrise, we'll still be in the 60s, fog, drizzle, some sprinkles, and a few showers. That's going to be the case through about the noon hour. Then the front is south of us, and by tomorrow afternoon and evening, we'll see some clearing. Not everybody's going to see a lot of sunshine tomorrow. Most of it will be up in the hill country, but the sky will gradually clear out, especially after sunset tomorrow. And then it changes everything for Sunday. Here's what's interesting temperature-wise right now. We really have to talk about this. Or I should say high temperatures today. Look at this. 70 in Hondo, only 54 in Kerrville, 72 San Antonio, and in the 50s in the hill country there. You go from Cotulla at 64 to Carrizo Springs at 54. There's a big temperature difference. Even Del Rio, usually one of the hotter locations on the map, 56. Meanwhile, well into the 70s east of I-35. That's because of this little stalled boundary that we have in place. It was a cold front. Now it's a stationary front, and this is its rough orientation right now, but that's causing a big difference in temperatures across our area. Now, as we go through the night, we're not going to see temperatures drop all that much with these low clouds. So starting the day tomorrow, I think a good portion of Bexar County and San Antonio will be in the mid-60s. In the 50s in the hill country, this is at sunrise tomorrow, Kerrville, Fredericksburg 55, and even west of I-35 will be temperatures in the 50s. Then we get into the afternoon and we don't have any big changes because of that cold front that equalizes everything. So we'll largely be in the mid and upper 60s for most of South Texas, but obviously a little bit cooler in the hill country. So tomorrow, first part of the day, cloudy, damp, drizzly, and low visibility as well because of the fog. And temperatures in the 60s. Cold front hits. By noon, still cloudy, and then we'll start to see the sky clearing out very gradually into the afternoon. And the north wind will be noticeable. It's going to be 10 to 20 miles per hour, so you'll notice that. Now look what happens behind that cold front as we get into Sunday. We're going to start the day at 37 degrees, so noticeably colder on Sunday, and despite sunshine, we'll only make it into the 50s. Monday is going to be very similar. 34 in the morning, mid-50s in the afternoon, and it's going to be cool with sunshine. So if you're headed to the walk on MLK Junior Day, jacket. Jacket weather would be wise. Jacket would be wise.
Yes. Gotcha. Again, my kind of weather.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go live to the AT&T Center. Spurs playing better, but they're coming off a loss tonight, Greg.
They are, and remind yourself that the Atlanta Hawks may have only had 9 wins all season long, but one of those came against the Spurs back in November. So that's one thing you want to remind yourself about before taking on the Hawks tonight here in San Antonio. And the Tigers in the White House coming up. Good evening, everyone, and welcome live to courtside here at the AT&T Center, where tonight our San Antonio Spurs play host to the worst team in the Eastern Conference, the Atlanta Hawks. Now, the Hawks are coming into this game with just a 9-32 record. The Golden State Warriors, the only other team with a worse record than that at 9-34 after their 134-131 overtime loss to Denver last night. The Hawks did trade for Jeff Teague to reunite with a 2019 19th overall pick, and if in uniform tonight, will wear 00. But the Hawks also have point guard Trae Young, who leads the Hawks with 29 points and 8.5 assists a game, and who went off on the Spurs in their first meeting back in November, 108-100, when he had 29 points and 13 assists that night.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It's kind of the start of our slide there. Just wasn't guarding anybody, wasn't doing much to really impact the game, so hopefully we're a long way away from that. He does a good job of using the ball screen, using his handle. So we just got to make it tough on him, try to use our length, use our different things to make it tough for him.
All right, here is a matchup tonight. We'll have all the highlights for you tonight on the Night Beat.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
The first game on Championship Sunday will be the AFC title game. That will feature between the surprise team of the NFL playoffs so far, the Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs are coming off their incredible 24-point come from behind 51-31 victory against the Houston Texans, which Kansas City outscored the Texans 51-7. That included 5 touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes, a new NFL playoff record, while the Tennessee Titans shocked the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots and Super Bowl favorites Baltimore Ravens to get to the AFC title game.
The speed of the game is going to take another step. I mean, it's hard to think about that when you're in the NFL, but every single round you get in the playoffs, it seems like it gets a little bit faster. And so we're just going to lean on that, lean on his experience and trust in his game plan that he's going to put us in position to win.
Coach Vrabel's message was, why change now? And that's kind of been our mentality is, hey, just do what we've been doing to get ourselves here, whether that's preparation or getting your body right, whatever it may be. Just keep consistent and stay on the path that we've been on.
All right, kickoff will be at 2 p.m. for the AFC title game on Sunday. The fighting Texas Aggies have lost another running back, Cordarian Richardson, expected to enter the transfer portal, leaving just Isaiah Spiller as the only scholarship running back for the Aggies right now. Richardson did not travel to Houston with the rest of the team when the Aggies beat Oklahoma State 24-21 in the Academy Sports and Outdoors Texas Bowl. And all head coach Jimbo Fisher would say at the time is that Richardson was not with the team, and now we know why. Baylor has a new head coach. He's Dave Aranda, who had been the defensive coordinator for national champion LSU, has been hired to replace Matt Rule, who took the job as a new head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Aranda had been the highest paid college assistant coach at $2.5 million. And in 4 years with the Tigers up, LSU beat Clemson 42-25 to win their first national championship 2007, their 4th overall.
It's so awesome to be here. It's a moment we'll never forget. It was a great season, but this is a great way to cap it off. So thank you so much.
Less than 1 week after winning the national championship, President Donald Trump welcomed the LSU Tigers to the White House today to help celebrate their accomplishment. It was their star quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner Joe Burrow, presenting the president with his own LSU jersey. And later, the entire team was invited into the Oval Office. We'll have more on the Spurs coming up in just a few minutes, including who may or may not be headed to the All-Star game. Got that for you in just a few minutes. Live from the AT&T Center, Greg Simmons, KSAT 12 Sports.
All right, thank you, Greg. Still to come at 6, 2 teens recovering following a stabbing at a high school in West Texas. Why investigators believe this was a targeted attack.
And the defense team for Donald Trump adding some legal heavy hitters. Who's now on the team? And they roll when they be playing and defending the president with the impeachment trial. Next at 6. With the impeachment trial of President Donald Trump set to begin next week, both sides are getting ready to make their case in the Senate. And the president's legal team has added some big-name legal muscle. ABC's Karen Travers has the details from Washington.
Football and impeachment. That's what was on President Trump's mind today as his defense team for the Senate trial comes together.
It was a celebration at the White House today.
It's really my great privilege to welcome to the White House the college football national champions.
President Trump honoring the LSU Tigers football team for winning the national championship this week. But impeachment loomed large. The president inviting the LSU players and coaches to visit the Oval Office.
We'll take pictures behind the Resolute desk. It's been there a long time. A lot of presidents, some good, some not so good. But you got a good one now, even though they're trying to impeach the son of a bitch. Can you believe that?
The Senate impeachment trial gets underway next Tuesday. White House counsel Pat Cipollone and President Trump's personal attorney Jay Sekulow will take the lead in defending the president in the trial. Also joining the defense team, former independent counsel Ken Starr, who led the investigation into Bill Clinton, and Starr's former deputy Robert Ray. During the Clinton impeachment, Mr. Trump was highly critical of Starr, calling him a disaster, a freak, and terrible. Also playing a role, Trump ally Alan Dershowitz, who will deliver oral arguments addressing the constitutional case against impeachment and removal. A Dershowitz spokesman said in a statement that the former Harvard law professor is nonpartisan, but is participating to, quote, prevent the creation of a dangerous constitutional precedent.
One thing Ken Starr, Robert Ray, and Alan Dershowitz all have in common, they're all frequent guests on Fox News. So President Trump has seen them in action defending him. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
In news around Texas now, 2 high school students in West Texas recovering after police say they were stabbed by a classmate. It happened in Abilene. Right now, investigators believe this was a targeted attack, not random. Police say a recently suspended student stabbed 2 other teens and ran away. Officers arrested the suspect about 30 minutes later. The victims taken to the hospital. All the students are boys around the same age. Police say the suspect and one of the victims had gotten into it over something else previously.
Maybe a light week considering what we have seen in the last couple of weeks from the South Texas border, but drug smugglers still probably don't like it when their drug shipments get intercepted by the Border Patrol. Like the one on the left, officers say they arrested 2 guys from Mexico carrying 96 pounds of marijuana near Brownsville. The picture on the right being brought across the Rio Grande by 5 people yesterday. 182 pounds of pot there. The suspected smugglers all arrested, almost $230,000 worth of marijuana seized over 2 days.
Happening this weekend at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, the gamers taking over for PAX South. We're talking video games, role-playing games, board games, you name it, and thousands of people are descending upon the Alamo City to celebrate all that. Photojournalist Robert Samaron was there for day 1 of the 3-day event.
We're here at PAX South 2020 in the fine city of San Antonio.
We've done 17 total years of PAX across 5 different cities. Yeah, and this is number 6 in San Antonio, and we love it here.
Available on Android right PAX now. Is a lot bigger than most anything that because we've been to a couple cons together, but PAX is definitely a lot bigger.
Win tokens, trade them in for prizes, talk to a developer.
There's kind of no right or wrong way to play the game.
We try to check every box for gaming.
I'm all settled.
We roll again. It's fun.
You're winning in all of it.
No.
Kind of no matter what you're into, you'll probably find it here.
It's a great opportunity for a whole bunch of indie developers to come to the light.
It's wild to see how much the gaming industry has grown. There'll be a lot more immersive in gaming, so you'll have a lot more interaction.
PAX brings in all manner of other people who you never have access to or even think to talk to.
Yeah, we love coming every year. It's kind of like our little mini vacation.
This is, it's a whole nother world.
We're just attracting other people who like the same stuff that we do.
You definitely do not have to be a gamer to enjoy PAX.
People who live in the Midwest can take advantage of a special promotion from Busch Beer. What the beer company is offering beer drinkers who have to deal with a lot of snow. That's still to come.
And Ben & Jerry's new ice cream concoction collaboration with streaming giant Netflix. What exactly is in the ice cream flavor? Netflix and chill. Next.
Here's what's going down with the buzz. Netflix and Ben & Jerry's getting some buzz from the 2-company ice cream collaboration. It's called Netflix and Chill. Now, it sounds pretty weird, but when you think about the ingredients, it's pretty tasty sounding. It has a peanut butter ice cream base and includes pretzels and fudge brownie pieces.
There's a non-dairy option as well, and apparently more Netflix flavors are coming. I don't get why they're working together, but yeah, they are. There's a sign up on the Ben & Jerry's website to get on the newsletter list. As for when the flavor will be available in stores, that information will also be on the website.
And happy 98th birthday to Betty White. The actress and American icon will celebrate her birthday Friday. Her first big role came in 1970s when she appeared on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. She was first a guest star, then a series regular. However, she'll forever be known as the cute, funny simpleton Rose on the Golden Girls.
Yeah, she was originally offered the role of Blanche Devereaux, but accepted the role of Rose instead. She's been nominated for 21 primetime Emmy Awards and a Grammy Award. In 2013, she earned the Guinness World Record for longest TV career for a female entertainer.
Yeah, I hope I look like that when I get to that age.
98.
I know, right?
Yeah.
The world's second largest diamond has a new owner. Louis Vuitton, the luxury brand best known for their handbags, has purchased the 1,758 carat Swallow diamond.
Wow. The diamond, the largest ever found in Botswana, was discovered in 1905. The purchase, the latest sign that the French retailer LVMH, the parent company of Louis Vuitton, is venturing into luxury jewelry. Last year, the company bought luxury jewelry retailer Tiffany's.
And of course, January 17th, the day set aside for cable cars. Now, it's National Cable Car Day. They first appeared in San Francisco in 1870s. The inventor, Andrew Smith and Leedy, based his ideas for cable cars on systems used to haul out or oil out of mines, right? Or out of mines. There we go.
Yeah. That makes sense. I always wondered where the idea came from. His invention dominated the city's transit scene until the 1940s. That's when lower cost buses kind of took over from cable cars. Now the cable car systems in San Francisco and New Orleans designated as National Historic Landmarks, the only 2 landmarks, by the way, that move. Have you ever ridden the cable cars in San Francisco?
I actually have not.
I have not either. I just thought maybe you had.
No.
Adam? Nope, but it's neat. You know how they have that operator because of the cable under the road that pumps, you know, that grips basically that cable to pump the brake. You know, they have that lever. So then, I like that kind of stuff.
You like the science.
I like the science behind it and the engineering.
That does not surprise me.
That's what I think is cool. Yeah. All right. So right now we're at 66 degrees and we're not going to see much of a temperature drop the rest of this evening. Temperature's not moving very much, and we'll have a few more showers out there, but for the most part, just focus on fog and drizzle to develop later on tonight. So we'll talk about that and your weekend and the changes coming with the cold front straight ahead.
All right, Busch Beer looking to make this winter a little smoother for the people who live in states that see a lot of snow. The company is running a snow day promotion. People living in select states in the Midwest and Great Lakes will get a $1 rebate for every inch of snow that falls in their state. Now, they have to buy select Busch products between now and March 20th and save their receipts. Sorry, Texas, it's just for Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, Nebraska, Michigan, New York, and Wisconsin.
The NBA All-Star Game, which will be played in Chicago this year, is now less than a month away.
Can you believe it? But All-Star fans voting ends this Monday, and not one single Spur in the top 10 in either the front court or the back court in the Western Conference. With more on this, let's take you live to courtside at the AT&T Center. That's where we find our Greg Simmons. Greg, who's going to make it off the team?
Well, you hope it's DeMar LaMarcus, but I tell you what, this is a 21-year All-Star streak. That is what is on the line here, with the Spurs having at least one player in that All-Star game. The longest, by the way, in NBA history since the 1976 NBA-ABA merger. Now, the last Spur to be in an All-Star game was LaMarcus Aldridge, who was selected as a reserve last year. Meant the Spurs have had players in the game in 40 of the 42 All-Star games since the Spurs were allowed into the NBA back in 1976. DeMar DeRozan is All-Star worthy since he has become the first NBA player since Michael Jordan scored at least 20 points, dish out more than 3 assists, while shooting 52% or better in 12 straight games. We asked the Spurs about the possibility of that streak coming to an end this year.
The fan vote is kind of popularity contest, so I mean it's what it is. But obviously, I think DeMar should be in it from what he's been doing, especially this last month or so. I mean, DeMar, LA, we got a lot of guys. So, I mean, the fan vote is what it is, but, I mean, the way DeMar is playing, he definitely should be in there.
If you look at DeMar this past month and so, you know, he's been doing really great things in LA as well. But, I mean, you know what? Hey, we're not here to worry about all-star games. We're here to try and make it to the playoffs and, you know, have a great run.
All right, we'll be pulling for him. Fan voting makes up 50% as to who gets to be named as a starter in the All-Star game, with players and media making up the rest. As it stands right now, it looks like it will be up to the coaches to keep the Spurs All-Star streak alive as reserve. Don't forget to join us on the Night Beat for all the highlights after the game. We'll take you inside the Spurs locker room. Hopefully DeMar leads us to a huge victory. Live from the AT&T Center, Greg Simmons, KSAT 12 Sports.
And taking a look at our weather right now, again, those gloomy conditions, my favorite. But it's also a mixture of what Steve likes too, right?
Yeah, I just like the little sun in there.
You know,
just a little.
This has been very good rainfall for some parts of our area, and even right over the aquifer recharge zone and drainage zone, we've had some good rain. So that's what I like to see. And we've been getting, it looks like even in our extended forecast, we have more decent shots at rainfall. That's as we get into next week. All right, let's start with a look at our sky and, of course, how we did at the airport rain-wise. The official measuring station and climate location in San Antonio, 200ths of an inch today. All that dampness and dreariness, and we got a whopping 200ths of an inch. Now, over the past 48 hours, that puts us at 0.35 here in town. Gonzales, 0.6 of an inch. But you get into eastern Bandera County, parts of Kerr County and Kendall County, basically Bernie to Pipe Creek to Kerrville. That was a real big sweet spot. Pipe Creek, nearly 4 inches of rainfall. Kerrville, over 2 inches measured. And in Bernie at the Cibolo Nature Center, 1.65. All right. I like to see that. It's good rainfall, just what we needed. Right now, not a lot of activity in the hill country. A few sprinkles here and there. And most of the rain in general is really starting to come to an end, and it's dissipating out there. We'll still have the low clouds through the rest of the night and even add to it some fog and drizzle. But the only remaining showers now moving through Gonzales County, and it's not going to last all that much longer for you folks in Gonzales. This is all moving off to the northeast pretty quickly, and then you'll just have the low clouds the rest of the evening. So here's the wider view of the current activity. And you see it all dissipating, tapering off as it moves out of town. This is all part of a big, broad system that stretches from here in South Texas all the way to the Canadian border. Those folks with that Busch beer promotion or whatever, they'll be cashing in on it with some snowfall in the upper Midwest. That's for sure. This is a wound up system. A lot of good upper level support. That upper level support's just far to the north of us. We will, however, get this cold front associated with this system. That's going to slide in tomorrow. More of the same until that cold front hits around noon. Then everything changes for the remainder of the weekend. So we'll get to those details in a moment. First, let's talk temperatures. Today, very unique out there. We have a boundary that's draped across our area, and it's snaking its way through parts of South Texas here. So we're 53 in Junction, but 66 in San Antonio. Even Carrizo Springs at 54. You go to nearby Pleasanton, and it's 64, and then in the 70s right along the coastline. So we've had 2 days with temperatures that have been very different across all of South Texas, depending on where you are. That all gets changed when the cold front hits tomorrow midday. This cold front's going to be more of an equalizer for us. All right, so tomorrow morning when you wake up, 64 in San Antonio, but we'll be in the 50s in the hill country, and even Del Rio about 53 degrees at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Into the afternoon, I think we'll be in the 60s for most of us, just a little bit cooler in the hill country, right around 60 in Kerrville, for example. All right, so tomorrow more of the same, as I said, the first part of the day. Tonight through sunrise tomorrow, fog, drizzle, a few sprinkles, maybe a few light showers. The noon hour, I think, will still be cloudy tomorrow, but that's when we start to notice the changes. The wind is going to pick up, and the sky will start to gradually clear into the afternoon. So if you're trying to decide on the early morning long bike ride or long jog opposed to the afternoon, I would go for afternoon. Okay, outdoor activities will be better in the afternoon tomorrow. It'll be breezy, but we'll still be in the 60s with a little bit of clearing and some sunshine closer to sunset. But look at that cold front does for Sunday. We're looking at 37 degrees Sunday morning, so chilly on Sunday morning. And then only in the 50s in the afternoon, despite a good amount of sunshine. You get into Monday, 30s again in the morning, jacket weather. On Martin Luther King Jr. Day, 56 the high despite some sun. And then, hey, the middle of next week, right now, we're looking at good prospects of some more soaking rain, but it's going to be a cool rain in the 50s. Good napping weather then.
See, but I know that's napping, but that's where I get like my irritations. I don't like it when it's cold and wet.
I see.
It needs to pick one or the other. Yeah,
Right, okay.
I get picky.
All right.
In case you missed it, that's coming up next.
Here's today's ICYMI.
It is Friday, January 17th.
Police are investigating a shooting where a man was shot in the head near the Stripes on the east side. Police say they got the call just before 12:30 this morning. There was some kind of altercation involving the victim. Shots were fired. The man who was shot was able to drive off in his car to this location at the Stripes. Police say the victim rammed the gate of the complex. They found the man's bumper by the highway. That's when he pulled into the Stripes right next to the entrance of Whitley Heights Sports Complex. He was taken to BAMC in critical condition with a gunshot wound to his head. Police continue to search for the suspect or suspects involved.
Arson investigating a suspicious fire on the east side. Happened just after 11 last night, the 1400 block of Montana Street. Crews say the building was abandoned and completely locked up. The damage from the fire is still under investigation. Crews say it was hard to tell what was already damaged before the fire.
According to a press release, Toyota will shift production of the Toyota Tacoma
from San Antonio to Mexico beginning in 2021.
Toyota will move the production of their Sequoia SUVs to San Antonio starting in 2022. According to numerous reports, no jobs will be lost due to the shift. The Tacoma has been manufactured here in San Antonio since 2010. Middle schoolers on the far north side banded together to gather money and donations for the San Antonio Rescue Mission. This morning, students at Buckner Fanning School at Mission Springs presented the food along with a $500 check to some San Antonio Rescue Mission representatives. The funds were raised at the middle school students' annual Thanksgiving feast bake sale, and the canned goods were collected during their December food drive.
All right, more of the same tomorrow. We'll have some fog and drizzle and overall dampness again to start the day. And it's going to take us a little while to dry out. But once those winds kick in the afternoon, you'll notice that north wind at 10 to 20. That'll help dry things out a little bit. We'll be in the 60s most of the day, but we really cool off Saturday night. I mean, we'll be down in the 30s at sunrise on Sunday morning. And despite sunshine, only in the 50s. And we do it all over again on Monday. So it's going to be rather cool day to start the week, and then into next week. Looks like some good prospects for rain, especially by Wednesday. We'll keep you updated.
Rain returns.
All right. Have a good night.
See you online at 9 and on the Night Beat at 10.